Welcome to this explainer. Look, today we are officially putting an end to those incredibly frustrating moments where your English just doesn't sound quite right? We've all been there. Our goal today is totally straightforward. We're going to empower you by fixing the 5 absolute highest frequency English grammar mistakes. Get ready because you are about to completely level up your English speaking skills. Let's get right into it.
Have you ever completely frozen up trying to tell a really simple story in English? You absolutely know the feeling. It's that sudden deer-in-the-headlights panic of trying to remember all the grammar rules under pressure, while someone is just staring at you, waiting for the end of your sentence. It is the worst, but it happens to absolutely everyone. Okay, let's dive into this common traps framework and start untangling these issues one by one so you can start speaking with total, effortless confidence.
Trap number 1, narrating the past and escaping the continuous trap.
So this is a huge pitfall that happens literally all the time when we try to tell stories about, say, a fun holiday you took or what you did last weekend. The really common mistake is slipping into the present continuous when describing something that is already 100% finished. People will say things like, "I'm going to breakfast." But when you do that, it makes it sound like the action is happening right now or is just about to happen. It doesn't sound like a memory you're sharing. Natural English, instead, sounds exactly like this. We got up early, had breakfast, and went for a swim. Hear the difference? It firmly, securely plants the story in the past, right where it belongs.
So the crucial point is this simple formula. It's literally going to be your absolute best friend for telling stories. Finished action plus finished time equals past simple. That's it. The main sequence of actions in any past story must follow this simple rule. When native speakers hear this specific structure, their brains automatically click and understand, okay, I'm being told a story about something that's already over. So whatever you do, don't overcomplicate it.
Now, what's really interesting here is that these aren't obscure, fancy words. Not at all. These specific irregular verbs, forget, see, go, take, and tell, are the exact ones most easily mixed up when you're speaking under pressure. Memorizing their past simple forms, forgot, saw, went, took, and told, will save your stories every single time you open your mouth. It builds up that automatic muscle memory, so eventually you won't even have to think about it.
Moving right along to trap number 2, first times and the experience factor.
This particular trap almost always catches people when they're talking about their amazing life experiences, but they don't say exactly when those events happened. The really common mistake is just dropping the auxiliary verb entirely, saying something like, "I never see water that clear." Or alternatively, people will incorrectly jump to the past simple like "I saw," even when there's no specific time attached. The natural, native-sounding way to express this life experience is simply, "I've never seen water that clear before."
Listen to this. This is the first time I've stayed in a hotel like this. Seriously, listen to how natural and expressive that sounds. When you're introducing something as a first in your life, you actually require the present perfect. It gives your listener this great feeling of an ongoing life experience leading right up to this exact very moment. It's just a fantastic, dynamic way to share your personal milestones.
And hey, if you ever get stuck on this, just use this present perfect test. Ask yourself, is there a specific date mentioned? No. Is the focus on the experience itself? Yes. If that's the case, the present perfect is almost always going to be your correct choice. Definitely keep this formula in your back pocket. It's basically an instant cheat code for sounding so much more fluent and expressive in everyday conversation.
Trap number 3, the missing infinitive. Basically, where in the world did the to go?
Now, if your native language is Russian, I completely and totally empathize with you here. Because Russian lacks a separate infinitive marker, the tiny little English word to just easily vanishes in fast speech without you even noticing you dropped it. The mistake sounds like, "I don't know how to say this in English," and it feels so unbelievably close to being right. But the natural, correct sentence is, "I don't know how to say this in English." Just adding that little to creates immediate, striking clarity and instantly levels up your whole sentence.
To fix this permanently, you've got to use the full infinitive with to after specific structural anchors. You need to lock these into your memory. Question words like how, what, and where, and specific verbs like decide, forget, want, and plan. And this brilliantly illustrates how recognizing just a few trigger words instantly solves the entire problem. Instead of wildly guessing, you have concrete signposts guiding your sentence structure.
Let's look at this specific example, just to really lock in the pattern. She decided to start a new career.
You've got your trigger verb, decided, followed immediately by the infinitive marker to, and then the bare verb start. Decided to start. It's clean, it's simple, and it's perfectly correct. When you practice saying it out loud, that rhythm naturally embeds itself into your automatic speaking habits.
All right, on to trap number 4, navigating time and place with high-frequency preposition rules.
Getting these high-frequency preposition rules right is a massive, massive level up if you want to sound exactly like a native speaker. So here are the essential patterns you need to know. It's rapid-fire time. Countries and cities take in Portugal, in London. Seasons take in spring. Years take in 1975. And movement into water or a container is into, he jumped into the pool. Say these out loud right now. Feel the rhythm of them and really make these anchor points stick in your mind.
But beware of this very, very specific trap. People often say, prices rose on this year. That is completely incorrect. The phrases this year, next year, and last year usually take absolutely no preposition at all. So the natural English is simply, prices rose this year. Honestly, sometimes doing nothing at all is the absolute best grammar rule. Just letting the time phrase stand on its own is the cleanest and most accurate way to express it.
And finally, trap number 5, mastering English articles, or as I like to call them, the invisible words.
If you get incredibly frustrated by articles, listen, your feelings are completely valid. They are ridiculously hard for Russian speakers simply because they just don't exist in the Russian language at all. But we can build a very simple decision matrix that you can use every single time you speak. Let's move through this and see how it builds. Step 1. Is it a unique moment like the first time? If yes, use the. Step 2. Are you mentioning a singular countable noun for the very first time? Use a or an. Step 3. Are you mentioning that specific noun again later in your story? Switch to the. It's an absolute lifesaver. Let's look at a few quick, common examples. If you are introducing a singular, countable noun to your listener for the absolute first time, you say a small guest house or an ocean. It clearly instantly signals to the listener, hey, I'm bringing a brand new item into the story. Once they know about that guest house, anytime you talk about it again, it naturally becomes the guest house, because you both now know exactly which one you mean. Make sense? So, looking back at our entire survival guide, here's my final provocative question for you. Which grammar trap will you escape today? You now have the exact formulas and the anchor words to fix these high-frequency mistakes once and for all. Take this incredibly powerful toolkit into your very next English conversation. Speak with real authority and just enjoy the results. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.